Want to make real money selling used clothes in 2025? In this video, I have got you covered. We're going to be covering how to actually be successful in the used clothing resale business in 2025. And I'm going to be laying it all out step by step for you here. So we're going to be diving on into 7 steps to start your clothing resale business, or if you've already got it started, what you need to do to actually be successful in 2025. Real quick, who am I? My name is Lee Meyer. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4, and I've made well over $100,000 flipping used clothes and other items on sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. And I'm on a mission to help as many resellers as I can be able to hit that $100,000 mark for themselves. It is easier than you think, more doable than you think. And I have a ton of free gifts for you. Before we even get started, this video is loaded with value, but I do want to take a second to invite you to check out those free gifts. You'll find them down here in the description below this video. You're going to find things like my best brands list. You're going to also find a link to sign up for my reseller bootcamp. This is a free 5-day bootcamp where this is going to break everything that we're going to be covering in this video down even further and into bite-sized pieces. I also want to take a second to invite you to check out my free $100,000 reseller challenge. In that free challenge, I show you exactly how to reach $100,000 for yourself this year with your resale business. And I am so passionate about this because it's not about you having to put in more time. It's not about you having to work harder. And I show you exactly what to be selling in today's market. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the topic of this video, and that is how to actually be successful in the resale business, in the clothing resale business in 2025. And then I'm gonna go ahead and lay out 7 steps for you here that are absolutely critical for your success. And make sure that you stick around for the end, where I'll be giving you some of my best bonus tips that I have learned after years of being a reseller myself. So let's go ahead and start with step number 1. And step number 1, this is foundational to all of the other steps in this, is to treat reselling like a business. Reselling is not just thrifting things and hoping they sell. This is all about strategy. It's a real business, and you're finding the items that people want and then offering them online at a profit. Step number 2 is knowing what to sell. This is a critical piece here that every new reseller makes a mistake. Every new reseller trips this one up and just lists random items. Maybe they're random items from around your house, or maybe you've actually gone out and spent money on those items. You thought that they were cute. You thought maybe it was a brand that you have seen sell for a lot of money. Those things do not necessarily mean that there is a demand on the resale market for those items. And this is where looking up comps comes in. This is a vitally important step to be able to go and look up those comps, especially before you go and make any purchases, before you make any investments into your business. Just because something is cute or you like the style does not mean that it will sell. Just because an item sells for a lot of money brand new in the store does not mean that the resale value is high on that item. You need to know what the comparable sales are. What are similar items selling for? How much are they selling for? How many of them are selling? There could be a ton of items listed, but none of them are moving. And you don't want to invest in inventory like that is just going to sit and sit and sit month after month, because that is no fun. That is discouraging. That is not having a business that is going to be bringing you in money. You want items that turn over. And that's what looking up those comps, looking up sell-through rates on items, i.e. how quickly they're turning over, that's what those numbers let you in on, is knowing whether you should invest in items or not. One of the easiest ways to be able to look up comps is to go into whatever platform that you are on and search for sold items. Most platforms do have a filter to be able to see sold items. This is available on eBay. It's available on Mercari, even Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark. Depop's the only one that I know of, at least off of the top of my head, that does not have a way to see sold items. When you use that filter and you filter down to only show sold items, you can see how much items are actually selling for. Now, with a tool like eBay, you can actually see the number of items that are being sold. And this is where that sell-through rate comes in that I mentioned. So you do need to compare how many items are actively listed and how many items are sold. That will give you an idea for how quickly items are turning over. That is the sell-through rate. The higher the sell-through rate, the more likely the chances are that your item is going to turn over quickly. And you're probably wondering exactly what you should be looking for when you're outsourcing, i.e. getting inventory for your business. So I'm going to give you a few tips here. Number one is to look for certain brands. Certain brands have a high average sale price, have a high resale value. Other brands may be high dollar in the store, but the resale value on those items is not necessarily high and may not be worth your time. Again, that goes back to looking up those comps, but there are definitely solid brands when it comes to high resale value. And again, in the description below this video, in those goodies, that's where you'll find one of my lists that I use, 150 different brands that have led me to that $100,000 mark and beyond. I have a huge BOLO playlist to be able to help you out with those certain brands that are selling well. I'm going to go ahead and link to that up here. I also have a resource called the Big Money Brand Complete Library. This comes with all of the done for you research as well as photos of all of the tags. I'm going to link to that resource over here, but that gives you well over 800 brands and counting that are inside of those guides. The second thing to look for when you're outsourcing are styles. There are certain styles that are really popular that buyers are after, that they are searching for. They're looking for certain aesthetics. And this is a really good way to be able to set yourself free from just being dependent on brands. And this can be really helpful, especially if you're a small town reseller like myself and you don't have access to a lot of high-end or luxury brands. We're going to be talking more about keywords later on in this video, so hang tight to that thought for right now. The third thing to be on the lookout for when it comes to sourcing items for your used clothing business is to look for vintage items. Vintage is a huge market right now. Retro is trending and it's not going to go away anytime soon. In fact, the demand just keeps going up because the supply keeps going down over the years. And with vintage items, the older the item, the more valuable that item becomes. And the fourth tip here that I have for you when it comes to sourcing is to not overlook accessory types of items like bags, shoes, belts, and hats. These are smaller size items, but they can come with a big punch because a lot of these do sell for quite a lot of money. And the sell-through rate on these items is actually very high, so they can make a very quick flip for you. All right, so on to step number 3, and that is knowing what platforms to sell your items on. Luckily, there are a lot of beginner-friendly platforms out there. I'm gonna mention a few of them here, but I don't want you to overwhelm yourself. Really, I want you to pick just one of these and go with it before you go moving on to other platforms and overwhelming yourself. First up, Poshmark. This is super beginner friendly. It is friendly for clothing resellers, especially because this platform is dedicated pretty much just to clothing. There's a few other items, but really it's known for clothing. The app is super easy to use. Shipping, you don't have to think about. The shipping labels are done for you, so you don't have to put a whole lot of effort in there of knowing what method to ship or even really weighing your items. Another beginner-friendly platform is Mercari. This is a newer platform to the game, but it is very, very beginner friendly, and the app is laid out pretty well to make the whole listing process seamless. Depop is another beginner-friendly platform. The drawback with Depop is that it can be very difficult to manage a large quantity of items on this platform. It's not really set up for bulk sellers. Number 4, Facebook Marketplace. With Facebook Marketplace, this is an especially easy way to sell locally if you don't want to yet dive into shipping items. And lastly, and I had to throw this one in here, it is eBay. It's a little bit not quite so beginner friendly, but that's personally where my sales come from. The vast majority of my sales come from. And a lot of other resellers will tell you the same. And unlike Depop, there are a ton of seller tools built in to help you be able to manage inventory in bulk, even if you have hundreds or even thousands of items. Step 4, this is where the magic happens. And this is to list. The more that you list, the more sales that you're going to make. It's as simple as that. I know that that sounds crazy, but if you're not having sales, you need to list more. If you're not making as much money or as many sales during the month as you want, you need to list more. This is simply a input-output model that happens with reselling no matter what platform you are on. The more that you list, the more that you're gonna get out of it. A few tips here when it comes to listing is to be consistent. List on a regular basis, whether that's a regular weekly basis, regular daily basis, you need to be listing consistently. I do have a habit tracker I want to quickly mention. It's super cool. It tracks your progress. You're going to be able to see animated coins stacking up as you complete tasks that are going to move you towards those sales coming in. Tip number 2 is to take lots of photos and make sure that the lighting is bright, that the pictures are clear, that you don't have a lot of clutter going on in the background. Better yet, use a background remover tool. This is even going to help your listings show up in search results. How crazy is that? Next tip is to be honest with flaws in your pictures as well as your description. You cannot include flaws in too many places. You want your buyers to know if there are flaws because trust equals sales. And the next tip here is to infuse your listings as much as you can with keywords that sell. I mentioned keywords previously. Now we're going to talk about them again because keywords can give you a way to be able to source more items, but you also need to be able to correctly describe your items for the buyers who are out there. You need to know what terms they are searching for. And this is where keywords comes in. This is what is known as SEO. Those are the words that buyers are using to find items. And if you don't use the right keywords, your items are never even going to get shown in search results in the first place. And this is huge in 2025. You need to have keywords for the type of item that it is, the different features, but you also need to have keywords that are style-based keywords, aesthetic-based keywords, the look of the item. For example, is it eclectic grandpa? Is it old money? Is it office siren? Is it whimsy goth? Those are all aesthetic-based keywords that define the kind of overall generalized look of the item. And buyers are looking for these. Buyers are hungry for these. And when you can use these type of aesthetic-based keywords, this is going to take your listings up a level and get more traffic to them, as well as the right kind of traffic, the right buyers. And you're gonna see more sales the more that you can infuse your listings with keywords. Keywords in the title, keywords in the description, keywords in tags or item specifics. Basically anywhere and everywhere that you can, you're going to use keywords because that is all SEO, search engine optimization. And last tip here when it comes to listing is you need to have an efficient workflow as far as getting your items listed. If you're making it hard on yourself to get items listed, if it's taking you a long time, you're gonna be a whole lot less likely to go and list your items. So you need to have an efficient process, a streamlined process in place to make it as easy on yourself yourself as you can. For example, working from left to right, or maybe batching all of your pictures at once, or maybe batching all of your measurements at once, or maybe sitting down to your computer and getting all of your listings typed up at once. Batching is an amazing way to be able to help you streamline your process, but help you also break it down into smaller, manageable chunks so that you don't get overwhelmed and so that you don't end up with a huge death pile, i.e. unlisted items that are sitting there staring you in the face. And I do have some really handy listing templates as well as listing cards that can help you make this process more efficient to get your items listed. And remember, the sooner that you can get your items up and out there and into the world, the sooner that you're gonna start seeing a return, the sooner you're gonna start seeing money coming in. If it's not listed, it's not selling. Step number 5 is to price your items for profit. And yes, you do need to look up comps again when you go to list your items. You need to know how much they're actually selling for. And I would recommend bumping up your price just a smidge. If you've got top-notch photos, if you're using keywords like what we have talked about, you can ask about 10 to 20% higher than what they are selling for. This will also do something else. It'll also give you a little wiggle room to be able to be flexible with your pricing, to be able to send out offers, to be able to run sales. That'll give you that little bit of extra wiggle room. And don't forget to factor in all of those costs that you may not think about, like platform fees and shipping supplies. All right, so step number 6, you've got your items listed, but the work isn't quite done yet. There is a little bit of legwork to get your items sold. And so in step number 6, we're gonna talk about how to bring in those first sales and some little tricks to be able to make it easier. Sometimes when you go and list items, you'll get a sale right away, and that is amazing. But most of the time, it does take some effort on your part. So what can you do if you're not seeing sales come in or as many as you'd like? Well, first up, you can share your listings if you're on the Poshmark platform, or if you're over on Depop, go ahead and refresh them. Second, you can run sales or send offers. You're gonna offer just a little bit less to make it a little bit more enticing for likers or watchers out there. Third, you can delist and relist items. What I mean by that is ending your listings and then going and reposting them. This is gonna make them a fresh, brand new item on that platform, and it's gonna appear at the top of search results. Fourth, make sure that your listings have the right keywords. If you're not getting the sales, the views, the watchers that you are expecting, maybe try changing up some of those keywords or adding in a few more. I know that I've harped on that a lot, but it really is an important piece to getting your items sold. And fifth, if you're still not making sales, double check your pricing. So many times items are just priced too high. You may need to take a second look and reevaluate your pricing. You can either adjust that original asking price or put that item on sale to make it more competitive to similar items. Step number 7, what to do after you make a sale. You'll want to package your item quickly and you'll want to package your item neatly as well as get it shipped quickly, especially when you're a new reseller. That feedback on a new account really, really matters. So anything you can do to help your feedback is going to help you in the long run. You can include a thank you note. You can even follow up with your buyer after they've received your item and let them know how much that feedback means to you. All right, so 4 bonus tips for you. I know that I've jam-packed this video with tons of value, starting from sourcing items all the way to getting your items shipped, but I wanna give you 4 additional bonus tips. Number 1, reinvest your profits into better inventory. You're gonna get to a higher level quickly. You're gonna get to a higher dollar amount coming in on a regular basis in your business, the more that you're able to invest. Number 2, learn your niche and learn it well. Before you go and add anything else, stick with one thing to begin with and learn that really, really well. Once you've got that down, you can go in and start adding in other items, whether it's shoes or bags or different types of accessories. Don't overwhelm yourself. Number 3, consider cross-listing tools like Vendoo. This allows you to be able to sell in multiple places at once, but I don't recommend this if you're just starting out, if you are a brand new beginner and you don't even know how to sell on one platform. Figure that one platform out first before you go and add in other platforms. Again, it goes back to that overwhelm. Once you're selling on 2 or 3 platforms, you'll definitely want to have a cross-listing software like Vendoo that will allow you to be able to manage your inventory across multiple different places. And number 4, do not let perfection hold you back. Perfectionism can be the biggest stealer of dreams, and I don't want to let anything as simple as perfectionism hold you back. Do it not perfect. Do it messy. And like I have to tell myself on a daily basis, done is better than perfect. So to quickly recap, start small, list smart, stay consistent, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well as check out all of my BOLO playlists where I give you tons of items to be on the lookout for, as well as more tips for when you're outsourcing. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to be sourcing and selling first. And make sure that you sign up for that free reseller bootcamp. I've had thousands of people go through this now. It is jam-packed with free resources to help you take action and get started. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next video soon.